How do you feel today? I feel so tired because I woke up from the most intense dream I've had in a very long time. I feel it slowly slipping away. It was still very clear a couple minutes ago. Is it bad or good or dramatic? It was just a lot. Like, a lot happened. My god. So can I just take a moment? Can I just take a moment and review what my dream was? How did it start? It started, we were in some sort of hotel-esque thing. The entire rat family was there, and then there were some new characters. There was this girl, I forgot her name, but she liked casino coffee. Okay, we'll get there in a second, okay? We'll get there. There was this girl, and she was like kind of, like, you know, a little bit, she had a little bit of an attitude, but she was like a really cool girl. Okay, and then there was a lot of children, because I think they were on some school trip or something, and I don't know, it was very strange. Anyway, what happened was I went up to the hotel room to take a nap, and then when I came back out, like, I think I was like, you know, in a dream where you see things happening but you're not there. I think the entire small village got stormed by, like, I don't even know who they were. They reminded me of just villains from like a Disney film. Like, it became Silent Hill. Like, it got stormed and everyone got taken prisoner except me because I was taking a nap and no one, yeah. And then for some reason I had powers in this dream, and then I could fly. And I could become invisible. So I literally sneaked out of there, and then I got onto the roof. I was invisible and I was trying to figure out what was going on. And then I flew off to get help or something. And then I came back like a couple years later, not a couple years later, maybe like a couple weeks later, to find that the entire village had been enslaved. And I had to go around putting 13 coins into this like freezer looking thing to get like, I don't know, to progress a level. I don't know what's going on. And then it and then I met, and then we created like this faux flying machine where like every single, you know, I would go out of the village because, you know, and try and get resources because I was the only one that could leave the village. And then I remember coming back a couple weeks later and seeing all the children because, you know, they were washing clothes. And then I saw the girl again. We'll call the girl Lime, because she turned from this beautiful girl into like this really ragged girl because she was working so hard and she hadn't brushed her hair in like so long. And then when we saw each other, she was like, oh my god, where have you been? And then something happened, but for some reason, because she really liked casino coffee, like she asked if I could go grind up some casino coffee every single time I went out, and I'm like, yeah, for sure, girl, I got you. And then I came back, and then for some reason I'd ordered 2 boxes of like kids unboxing toys, and then like a gigantic Pokemon plushie of some monster that looked like a Stegosaurus / turtle. I feel really lost right now. What happened after? I don't remember. Okay, a lot of things happened in that dream as well, but I just don't remember it. It's like slipping away. But I feel really tired and I'm really lost. Oh.
It was scary. It was one of those nightmares that I didn't realize was a nightmare until after I woke up. And I'm like, oh my god. Wait, that's terrifying. Okay, so I only remember a little bit of it, but I may have turned into a serial killer. No, actually no. I was defending myself, I'm pretty sure. It happened in my own home, which was more terrifying. And Mama Rat was also there, which is extremely terrifying. It was so scary. Okay. First, it involved us in the main house, and there was an intruder. He was really tall, and he kind of looked like a Dead by Daylight type villain. Like, you know, he was big, and he was wearing like the big gloves. Slenderman? No. Slenderman is tall but really lanky. No, he was just big, you know. And the thing about this man is that he had a snake, and he was inside the house, and he kind of like manifested from the shadows. And we have like this like kind of corridor-esque hallway thing in the main house, and we just saw him like walking like towards us, and we were like at opposite ends of the hallway. And then I remember the snake was really, really long, really big, and I think it was brown. So pretty much, Mama Rat and I were on the other side of the hallway, and then he was like, you know, the footsteps like echoes like dun dun, and it was walking. But instead of like walking towards the end of the hallway, he sent his snake. So I grabbed the nearest thing, which for some reason was like a pipe, like a metal pipe. I don't know why we had a metal pipe like right next to me. So I got it, and I stood in front of Mama Rat, and I was like, I'll protect you. Don't worry, we got this. Right. And then literally, oh wait, no, that's not what happened. Sorry, that's not what happened. No. The snake comes afterwards. Babe, what are you talking about? Okay, no. First, he was walking through the hallway, and I got the metal pipe, and I started bonking him on the head. I started bonking him on the head, and then he's kind of turned like flaky. Like, he kind of like froze. Right? Oh, what's the way I can explain this? Okay, you know in the very last movie of Harry Potter, you know Bellatrix? You know how like she gets turned into like she gets like frozen into like paper mache? He kind of turned into that, right? So after I like finished bonking him on the head, he turned into that, and then Mama and I dragged him into like this room and like sat him down, right? But we didn't close the door, and this room was like at the end of the hallway, so we like dragged him all the way back to the end of the hallway. I don't know why we didn't just, you know, like we didn't, you know, just call the police. I don't know, get rid of him. I don't know. Anyway, and he was just sitting there, right? But his head turned to face us. It was the most creepy thing in the world. And I was like, Mama, we gotta do something. What the heck? And then she's like, don't worry, he can't hurt us anymore. And then out of nowhere, a snake comes out and starts attacking us. This is the big brown snake. And I'm like, what? What the, excuse me? Because Mama Rat was in the room. And then I was like, whoa! And then I got the metal pipe again, and then I started bonking the snake. I was bonking the snake, and then I bonked the snake until the head fell off. I don't think that's how bonking works. I started bonking! I was bonking! Right? And then the snake kind of like curled up, and then, you know, also turned flaky, and then just kind of disintegrated. Right? But then, so from my perspective, I was standing outside the room, so I could see Mama Rat, and I could also see this frozen paper mache, like evil villain guy, but his head was like pointed, like, you know, looking towards me. And then Mama Rat was standing there with her hands on her hips, like, you know, thank God we got rid of that one. And then all of a sudden, the guy's head, like, very creepily turned and looked at Mama Rat, and the eyes started glowing, and I'm like, Mother! And then he turned into a zombie. And then somehow we ended up in the backyard, and then a lot of things happened. And then I think I may have utilized a chainsaw, and then we chopped up the zombie, and then we stuffed him into random places outside the house. Like, for some reason, we put parts of him in the electrical box, and then we put other parts of him inside of, like, this other box, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then Papa Rat came and was like, yo, you guys okay? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I woke up. I don't know. Babe, do you need therapy? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. You should have known it was a nightmare when you could lift the metal pipe. Oi! Hey! Metal pipes aren't that heavy. Are they? Are they? Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god! Wait, I have another story. This happened right before the nightmare. I had sleep paralysis because I was so goddamn tired. I had rehearsal all day that day. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just remembered this. My mind is blown. For the first... Oh my... I need to remember. Oh my god. Oh my god. Because I heard my paralysis demon for the first time. I heard him. What was he saying? He was saying... Wait. Yes! Oh my god, I remember! I heard my sleep paralysis demon. Oh my god. Okay, so remember the last time I had sleep paralysis, I was like hallucinating that I heard like college kids outside of my shed partying it up. This time, I remember I had sleep paralysis. This was right after a really, really long day of rehearsal, so I was so goddamn tired. And then it was like, it sounded like a demon. It had that like guttural sound. But the thing it was saying was so ridiculous that I wasn't scared of it. It kept saying, I kid you not, literally, I kid you not. I swear on everything, this guttural demon started chanting over and over and over again. Thick bod, thick bod, thick bod. I don't know why. And it started like, I don't know. I think it started where like, you know, when you think of a certain word. So it came from the mind and then suddenly it started like, again, manifesting. And then I could like actually hear it. And it was like this deep growl. And I remember I did like a double take because it did start to get kind of scary because this had not happened before, of where I could start hearing a voice that sounded like a demon and whatnot. But then it just kept repeating thick bod, and I'm like, wait, hold on a second, come again, please come again. What did you say? Man. And then I woke up from the sleep paralysis. Oh, I completely forgot about that. Oh my goodness. Was this before or after the mining stream? It was before. It was before. Man. How the hell do you forget that? No, because I kind of just... It's been a very busy couple of days, okay? Speaking of busy couple of days, so many things has happened over the last couple of days. It knew about the collab. Oh my god, was it foreshadowing?
Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. I'm really sorry. I had a nightmare and my alarm didn't wake me up. Oh goodness. Okay, you're gonna laugh at me. And welcome to the stream, everybody. I'm really, really sorry that I'm late. But I had a nightmare and you're gonna laugh at the nightmare because when I say it, it's gonna be one of those nightmares that's not scary, but oh my goodness, it was terrifying. Okay, so this nightmare took place around like this urban legend that doesn't exist. Like it was a quote-unquote urban legend in the dream. And it has to do with this hotel where apparently it kidnaps like young teens, right? Young boys and young girls, and then they like torture them until they become like obedient in a way, like mentally obedient, right? And then they start working at the hotel, luring other young people. So that was the urban legend, right? So the first part of the dream took place in a ninja village. Hold on. Hold on. What just happened? Okay. I know as soon as I said that, I feel like it takes. Okay. Very true. Okay, look. Okay, it took place in a ninja village, but our village was this really like run down place, and there was a legend that the people from the hotel would come and kidnap you, and they had, you know, it was like an order, like they came to kidnap young people, and you know the village had no choice but to go along with it. And there were these traps where you had to stand, you know, so that you would get taken, pretty much. And it was me, there was one other girl, and there was a really, really, really young child. And apparently, I saw all the traps, but the young child traps, they weren't looking for the young child because she was too young. So it was just me and this other girl. So everyone in the village was like, there is a way to avoid it. And what it is you have to like go into a certain room, and then you have to change. Okay, I know this doesn't make sense, but you have to change into your VR costume. Like change into a costume in VR that's not a costume. I don't know why. Okay, just stick with me. Stick with me. Okay? Stick with me. All right? So the only problem was that, and you know, it was like these nightcrawler phantom thingies that would come to every village to check quote unquote homework, but it wasn't like homework. It was them. They're just trying to like take young people. Okay, so pretty much we went into the rooms, but we went into the wrong rooms. So I ran into the other girl's room by accident, and she went into my room, and some of the VR things started glitching. Thank God we weren't caught. But anyway, that was the first part. It was terrifying because we saw the phantoms and they were like roaming through each room trying to find us. We survived that one. But then it jumped to, for some reason, to me just going to the hotel. I don't know whether it was because like the village had no choice but to send us, but I survived once. But then it cut to me. I was just literally going to the hotel. And I had all my luggage with me, and then we had like talked about like the stories about it were like, oh, you know, it would make you're just there, and like they make you do really, really like scary stuff, and you get tortured and stuff. Anyway, and then so I got there, and oh my god, so creepy. We got there, and I was trying to find the room that I was assigned, which was 26D. And I think I was there with two other girls, like two other like capties, and they were all on the first floor. So I was trying to find this floor, and I went up to like one of the quote unquote hotel staff, and like he was like very nicely greeting everyone else, and then he saw me and I asked for 26D. And then his like face changed. He got like really serious, and he was like, they were kind of like creepy as well. And he was like, 26D, second floor, go up, turn right. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, 26D, go up, turn right. 26D, turn up, go right. And his face just was like terrifying, right? So I went up the escalator, and then I looked back, and he was trying to tell me something, but then he glitched out of existence. Right? Like he literally glitched. Like a you know when something glitches? Like a hologram. Right? So he glitched out of existence, and then I saw him reappear, and he was just going back to welcoming other guests. There was also a train station connected to this hotel. Like the train station was part of the hotel. That's it. So I went up, and I went to the right, and then I saw all of these, they were like rooms, but it was kind of like industrial looking. like there was these big like iron doors as bathrooms and stuff. Anyway, so I got to the room, right? And then suddenly I felt myself being like suffocated with like a towel, like a sheet, like a bed sheet. And I was like pushed onto the bed and had like a bed sheet over my head. And I was like, oh God, it's happening. I didn't freak out because I knew what was happening, right? So I got up. They stopped, you know. This was also in front of a lot of other guests. Kind of scary. And then, so I got up. And then there were like these group of like quote unquote hotel attendees, but they looked really young. And what scared me the most was because I knew most of them. Like I recognized most of them. Some of them went to school with me before. So, yeah, scary. And then they were like, you need to follow us. And I was wearing something that was not very warm. Like, I think I had my heat tech on with like a sweater and some leggings. That was it. And one of the quote unquote urban legends of torture that they do is they just leave you in like a kind of chilling room, like a refrigerator type room. And they're just like, you're just there for 3 days. Like that's one of the stories, right? So pretty much, we started walking. We were walking out, and I noticed like one of the quote-unquote hotel attendees, who I knew, I used to go to school with them. They had like this massive cast on his leg, like it was fat, like there was this really thick cast on his leg, and he was just walking. And then, like I could see like a scar, like a really big scar on there, and like I could hear the other hotel attendees talking, and they're like, "Oh, is it like what? Are you okay?" And then the guy's like, "Oh, it's just acting up again." And I was like, "What is going on?" Anyway, so I started talking to this lady, this young woman next to me who was also a hotel attendee, and she was like, "Are you only wearing like 2 layers?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "Okay, I'll give you another jumper just because, you know, you're gonna be cold tonight." And I'm like, "Oh, is the story true? Or where they like keep you in that room for 3 days?" And she's like, yeah, not a lot of people survive, but you know, I'll give you my jumper just in case. What? Bro, what? Anyway, for some reason I wasn't phased, right? And then I saw the other 2 quote unquote victims or like captees, right? They were like dallying at the back. And there was this one girl, her name started with a V. I don't remember what it was, but she was like very rebellious. She was like being really rude to everyone. So I was trying to be nice to everyone because I didn't want to die, right? So she was like being rude. She was showing attitude. And then like we were talking about, you guys think we'll like survive or something? And then like she didn't answer. We got to this quote unquote hold, like the place where they keep all the young people, right? Or they keep all their prisoners. And it was like a pretty nice place. We walked in, there was like a kitchen, there was like this living area, but for some reason you were not allowed to use reverb or like speak loudly in this living area. And we were like, why? And then she threw in like a microphone into the area, and there was like this ear piercing, like, you know when like a mic, you know, sometimes when you talk into a mic and then there's that really loud pitch sound. What do you call that? Feedback. Yeah. There was like this intense feedback, like so loud, like I went like deaf for like a couple seconds. Like it was so loud. And they were like, yeah, so you're not allowed to shout, you're not allowed to sing, and no reverb, no mics, no anything are allowed in this living space. You can read, or you can write song lyrics. That was very specific. And I was like, okay, got you. So we got there, and there was also like this dining area, and suddenly this lady comes in, right? This lady comes in who seems to be the caretaker. My goodness. And she was like older, but she seemed normal, right? And she was carrying all this stuff. She was like making food or whatever. I don't know. And we weren't allowed to take any of our luggage, by the way. Like we literally were told not to bring anything because like phones and stuff, everything was confiscated because I literally quote, one of the attendees was like, Of course they can't take their phones. What if they take pictures of like the other young people that are there? You know, if they take pictures of the other captives, then we're done. I'm like, oh my god. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so we get there and then we're just in time for like dinner. And they asked me, do you want to help out with dinner? But it wasn't like a question. It was like a order. You know when someone asks you want to help out with dinner, but it's more like you have to help out with dinner, right? It was one of those situations. And she gave me something that had really small text. It was like, she gave me like 5 palm cards that were size of tarot cards. And then the lady was like, how good is your reading? And I'm like, it's okay, right? So pretty much there was like this pot, there was some fish in it, and she gave me these palm cards and I had to reenact or read out the sequence. Something about, I don't remember the words anymore. It was something about figs and something about, I don't know. It's very strange. Anyway. Something about figs, something about cooking. And like I had to open the pot and then like I realized that the girl with V was inside the pot. Like I was cooking her alive. And I had to like interact, quote unquote, with her. And we're putting on a show for everyone. But the creepy thing was she was also reciting the story before like I was even saying it. And I had trouble reading it because the writing was really, really, really small. And yeah. What the heck? Yeah. There was fig and trout involved. I think she was taking the place of the trout. And I had to like lift her up. I had to like hold her close to my face. And then I woke up. Another dream. Maybe I should talk about my dream before I forget. Guys, I had a dream. This was like a dream that happened right as I woke up. So I remember it very clearly. I was going shopping with Friendtaro, and then we came across a Sailor Moon pop-up store. And by Sailor Moon pop-up store, I mean like a Sailor Moon merchandise pop-up store. And I was like, what in actual carnation? What? How do I not know about this? It was in like a local shopping mall as well. And I was like, wait, how have I never known about this before? And it turns out, it doesn't make sense about in the future. But it doesn't make sense how in the future this was. Because it said they were celebrating their 30th anniversary. Yeah, so it said they were celebrating their 30th anniversary. And I'm like, has Sailor Moon been out for 30 years already? That doesn't make sense. Right? I don't know. But anyway, we went in and then they were selling like actual intense merchandise. Has it been out for 30 years? I think it has. Yikes. It was the 30th anniversary last year. Wait, does that mean I was onto something? Oh well. But anyway, the point is we went in and it wasn't just like a normal merchandise store where it had like plushies and stuff. No, they were selling Sailor Moon phones. They were selling Sailor Moon, like, what else were they selling? The thing that we were looking at, they were selling Sailor Moon shoes, like the actual shoes that they change into, except they were like rain boot material. And they were so expensive. I may have tried it on. They were like boots. It was crystal clear. I thought it was made of glass, but it wasn't. Man. Are you sure this was a dream? Was it a dream or was it a flashback? Who knows? Anyway, that was my dream. And then I remember pondering in the dream because I wanted to buy the new shoes. But then I just told myself that you already just bought a new pair of shoes. It were also boots. So in the dream, I was conscious. I was self-aware of the fact that I had just purchased a new pair of shoes. Yeah. Can't tell you about my dream. Man, I'm kind of pissed off. So, for some reason, I was in a race. Like, it doesn't make sense, but I was on the ceiling and I was like in a part of a race with Billie Eilish and Britney Spears. But we were on the ceiling, like, you know how in Persona, jumping on the lights and stuff. And then they started performing. And I was like, what? I don't understand. And then we got to like the very final part of the race. It was like an obstacle race. And the last obstacle was that we had to conduct a science experiment. Like we had to create like some sort of electrical force conducted thingy, or I don't know. And I didn't know how to do it. Okay. I should have studied. Man, it sounds fun, TBH. It was kind of annoying because I feel like I forgot what the science experiment was, but it was I feel like it was a really simple one where you had to create, what was it? Something like a magnetic current. Like you had to create some sort of electric current. And all I had was like an aquarium. There was an aquarium there. And they were like, create an electric current. And I'm like, wait, what? I didn't understand, and I was stuck. Wait, did I tell you guys about the hotel dream? Oh my god. Oh my god. Did I tell you about the hotel dream? I think I told Nessie about the hotel. Narissa, sorry. I told Nessie about the hotel dream. I remember I woke up and we were talking, and I was like, man, I just had the weirdest dream. So what happened was, it takes place inside of a hotel, right? Oh. But this hotel, when we got there, I was with 2 other people that I didn't know. I can't remember who I was with, but I was with 2 other people, right? So I remember we got to the check-in part of the hotel, and it was looking really fancy, and pretty much every wait staff there or hotel staff was just really, really rude. I know what you're thinking. It's like, oh, you know, rude, like, you know, their customer service was bad. No, it was literally like, we asked if we could leave our bags there to check out the rest of the hotel, because I guess the hotel was on the top floor of some building, and there were shops on the other levels of the building. So we were like, oh, can we check in, leave our bags here, and then we'll come back, right? Right? And then the guy who was working at the reception was like, I'm not gonna wait for you girls to go shopping. I don't have time to wait for you girls to go shopping. I was like, huh? The nerve. Kind of base. What do you mean? Anyway, it gets more crazy. Anyway, so we were like, WTF? Okay. Well, in that case, we'll just check in, leave our bags in the room, and then I guess, and then we'll go, right? Got the key. But for some reason, we first decided to check out the rooms without our luggage. We still left the luggage there. We just wanted to see what our rooms look like first. So we got not like a single key. We got a key ring that had like 10 different keys on it. Okay, like a key, like it was like a key ring. 10 different keys on it. And we're like, why do we need so many keys? What's going on? And then we opened the first door, apparently, that led to the rooms, and then we saw like a really long hallway, and then it like changed. The design of the hotel changed from being this really upscale modern place to think Victorian style English housing, right? It was looking a little vintage, you know? And then went down the hallway, went down the staircase, and there was another door. We opened it. And then suddenly we were in like a sauna room. There was a pool. It was weird. We were walking up. You know, it led to like... the door led from... It's kind of hard to explain, but the door led from the bottom of the pool. And then we were like, what the heck? Okay, so we walked back up. And then we opened the fourth door. And it was like a lava room. And I was like, what? And there was like a pipe that led to the other side of the room that, you know, then led to our room. It was weird. I don't know. So pretty much the hotel lava room. So when we got to our room, it was like dirty. It was like run down. The toilet was inside of like a broom closet. It was weird. And then when we got into our room, there were like 3 mini beds just next to each other. And then when we went into like quote unquote the living room part of the, you know, I went to open the living room door or like slider thing. A child comes running out and I'm like, who are you? And look back into the room. There's a guy in a straitjacket who's watching the TV. And like, you know, it's disgusting. There's like food everywhere on the floor. And then the guy just walks out or like hops out, follows the kid and but kept eye contact with me as he was walking out. It was weird. And then he left and then we were like, okay, this is weird. And then we realized we have to go all the way back to get our luggage to bring back to the room. That's weird. And then, so I was going back through the doors, but like I got to the pool room and then I had to swim underwater to reach the door. And I got to the lava room and then everything started collapsing and I was like running on the pipe. And then the pipe broke and then I had to jump. I reached the door. So that room collapsed. I opened the room to the next door and then there was just hotel staff standing there looking very displeased. And I was like, oh, hi. Confused. Is it dream time talk again? Dream talk time? Dream time talk? It's kind of strange. I think I got turned into a witch. And I was living in like this, imagine like Hunger Games. It was like on a bridge, but it was like inside. It was outside, but it was inside. I got turned into a witch. And then I was with 12 other witches. And we were all lying in our respective beds. But the beds were on a bridge. And it was like outside, but it was actually inside. Does it make sense? It was outside, but inside. So it's like inside this big dome, but like the surroundings made it look like we were in a forest. And I remember all the other witches hated me. I don't know why. And I went back to lie down on the bed. And then suddenly a huge horde of trolls and goblins started racing towards us from inside the forest. And then I looked over and I asked the witch next to me. I was like, oh, do we just stay here? And the witch was like, yeah. Yeah. And I was like, oh. Okay. They sound so chill. I know, right? Is this what Too Much Criminal Mind does? I don't know. I don't know. We psychoanalyze the right. What does that dream say about me? Huh? Any behavioral analysts out there? What does that say about me? Okay. Let me get into the groove first before I tell you about my crazy dream. Oh my god, the mascots are so cute. It was insane. Oh, the misses though. Like, it was so crazy, and the fact that it all happened within 40 minutes is what blows my mind. My goodness. So, the dream, there's like multiple parts to the dream. Multiple parts to the dream. Ooh, potato. So, this dream had sections. It had layers. It had different parts to it. And literally, none of them connected. Ooh, nurse horn. Ooh. But it was so epic. It had layers like an onion. So how did it start? I remember it started with me trying to get ready for a stream. Mumei was there. Trying to get ready for a stream. And then the doorbell rings, and then suddenly IRyS was there. Now I even remember what stream this was meant to. It was like the stream that I was setting up. There was some technical difficulty, and then I couldn't start on time. And then I remember the stream was supposed to be a watch along of Aladdin, and I don't know why. Like the original animation Aladdin. And I was like, okay. So I ended up being really late for that stream. Okay. Do I need anything? So, but we got it sorted. And for some reason, IRyS came while I was setting up the stream. And then us three were like, you know, we will all watch it together. The tech difficulties also required me to like rearrange the room I was in for some reason. Mumei helped me as well. So all seemed well. Oh wait! That's not how the dream started! Wait, I'm stupid. I literally have it written down. I'm also talking with my mouth full. I'm sorry. Hold on. That wasn't even how the dream started. Sorry, no. The dream started with me and Mumei were at like a department store. And we were heading home so I could stream. That's how it started. Okay? There's a reason why we were late. I mean, on top of the tech difficulties that were there, there was also another reason we were late. The other reason we were late is because we were waiting at the elevators. And then suddenly, a group of 4 people came out of the elevator while we were waiting to get in. And they were wearing like ski masks. 2 of them were wearing ski masks. One of them, who seemed like the leader, was like telling them stuff. And I said to Mumei, I was like, this is very sus. What is going on? Right? That happened. So, we went up to the group. And we asked them, what's good, guys? Hey! What's the occasion? What's happening? So much detail in this dream. Bro, we haven't gotten anywhere. We haven't started anything yet. Oh, it's crazy! Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Hold on, let me concentrate for a bit. Anyway, so we went up to them and we were like, so, what are you guys doing? Why are you guys, what's with the ski mask? What's happening? And the guy, the leader of the pack, literally just very casually informed me that they were robbing a bank. And we're like, oh, fun! Sounds so much fun. Okay, back to my dream. So, a group of people robbing a bank, right? And we were like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. And then they were like, yeah, we'll be on our way. And we were like, okay. The guy who was the leader had like this walkie-talkie in his back pocket. So as they were entering the elevator, I very sneakily grabbed
the walkie-talkie. And the doors close. You know when they... Oh, I should have gotten the bucket. Whoops. The doors close, and he realized, and he like came running at the elevator door. What a bold rat. Yeah, I don't know why. It was just... It just happened. Oh my god, 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 yeah. So, after grabbing the walkie-talkie, we ran to the information desk, and a guy was just coming back to the desk, and we were like, we bumped into 4 people and they were robbing a bank, and this is the guy's walkie-talkie. And then at that exact moment, the walkie-talkie guy came back and was trying to defend himself. And then, was trying to like defend himself, run away, something like that. And then the security guy at the information desk, who was kind of like a smaller, had like a smaller body frame, was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. No, that's not what he said. But he was like, okay, I'm gonna go get backup. But, you know, I can't, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Hold on, I'm gonna die. Yeah. Okay, so because of this incident with the robber, anyway, so the guy was like, I'm gonna get more security. And then Mumei and I try and hold the guy down, you know. And then security comes and then they arrest him and everything's fine. Why am I missing? Holy moly, what is my aim? And then that's when we go home and I'm setting up for the Aladdin watch-along stream and then we end up being late. And then IRyS comes for some reason. I don't really know. And yeah. That's where we're at with the dream, right? Now, the stream starts and pretty much what happens after the stream starts? The stream starts and then for some reason, we start singing. We start singing, I'm Not Okay by My Chemical Romance. And we're like, you know what? We're gonna make this into a no archive karaoke stream. Because why not? You know, nothing's going as planned. Anyway, so it turns into an unarchived karaoke. We haven't even... I don't think we're, like, close to even a third of the story yet. So we finish... We start singing karaoke, and for some reason, it turns into, like, us on the street singing. Like, we become the stream, essentially. We become the stream. How? I don't know. We start walking down the street, and also the other 2 have just disappeared. So this is what I mean, the dream turned into different chapters. They have nothing to do with each other, but they're like related, you know? Yeah. So it turned into me on the street with like a bunch of people. I don't remember. We were just walking down the street and we started singing and we were chill. What happened next? Oh yes. And then we were... I need spider cooking. Okay. And we start singing, and then somehow we stumbled into this very traditional looking. It looked like a tourist attraction, so I guess we were in Japan. And then the people I were with. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. I died. Right, so back to the dream. Right. Okay. So we went into this really traditional place, and then one of the people that I was with, she suddenly was like, "Oh my god, it's my dream to like take a photo at this some random place that I don't remember the name of." So we started walking towards it when I suddenly wandered into a place that it looked very sketch. You know, it reminded me of the village in Resident Evil 8. But it was like a little tavern. It was very out of place. And inside there were like weapons. They were very mean looking people. It wasn't a vibe, okay? So suddenly I'm in there and they're all like glaring at me. Mind you, my friends are nowhere to be seen. The people I was with, they're all gone. I was just by myself. Now, suddenly... I'm getting chased. There is this really mean-looking lady who also kind of looks like a zombie. Something straight out of Resident Evil. Oh, there's so many coins. This is amazing. This is amazing. Starts chasing me, and I start running. And then... I start running, and I start, like, trying to fight her off. And then suddenly, I get, like, pinned to the wall. Like, Lady D style. No. Think, like, a lady version of Barney. That's what she looked like. She looked like a lady version of Barney. I just remember knowing that she had booba, but she kind of looked like Barney with booba. So because of that, she was like, I was pinned to the wall, and she was like choking me, and then I was like, you know what? No! So I grabbed her head and I ripped it off! No cap, seriously, that's what happened. I ripped it off! And then... the weird thing is, I then suddenly turned into someone who wasn't me. Like, I turned into, like, a different character. You know what I mean? I turned into a different character. And it turns out she was, like, one of, like... This lady who apparently ripped off the head of some zombie-looking Barney was part of a joint task force. And who had, like, special skills or something. And there was like a whole group of people out there who were like this, that had like different skills. And then suddenly I'm in a different person's body. I'm guessing one of the other superhuman people, right? And her skill was kind of like teleportation, but it was like being able to pop up in different places in like just by pressing like a button on her remote. But there was like a time limit. So like the more she was able to travel through without getting caught. This doesn't make any sense. Imagine like a huge underground like pipe system. Hold on. First target this weapon hits is marked, and the mark will receive 20% of the damage inflicted. Cool. I don't know what that means. Marking. Okay. Think like an underground pipe system, and she's like teleporting through the pipes, kind of like Mario, but like not really. But think there's like a million of them, and she has like a little remote that can that if she presses it, she can travel. But in a situation where she's fighting, if she gets caught or if she gets like damaged or hit, like or caught, you know, like actually caught by someone, the time that she can teleport goes down. Does that make sense? Does it make sense? Yeah. Honestly, it probably doesn't make sense, but that's what it was. And all this is kind of like a VR thing. So I remember, you don't find it until the end, but pretty much you start, they explained it, and then I press the button, and then I teleported, and then if you keep pressing it really quickly, it looks like she's teleporting, because she's just like, you know, appearing out of everywhere. It doesn't make any sense, but trust me, okay? And that was the entire, that was her quote-unquote superpower, right? So, training starts. It was this whole thing of like, oh my god, you know, they're superhuman, but we gotta train them. So, training starts, and, you know, I start hiding, you know, I get quote-unquote transported into like the pipes and stuff to train this weird power. And then there was like, it's like military. Like the people training are like military soldiers, right? And they've got like guns. Anyway, so there's like a group of them. And they start going through every like channel, like these pipes, these metal pipes, to try and figure out where I am. Because if they find me and tag me, quote unquote, or like damage, or you know, attack me, I lose time on my counter of how to. What do I need with the X? Feel book. Okay. I lose time on being able to teleport. So I'm teleporting, I'm fighting them. It gets really, really intense, and then you hear like the captain in the background being like, "Find her! Find her!" Stuff like that, right? And then it gets to a point where it's not looking good for me. I'll just say that. It's not looking good for me. And suddenly it turns into like a zero gravity type situation or atmosphere, and I was like, okay. And I had like, oh, how many seconds? I had like a good minute on my clock before I could like teleport again, because that's just, you know, that's how much I was getting caught. So because of that, I was like running, trying to like, you know, avoid getting caught. Oh my god, I am in a corner. Yikes. Not good. Okay, I'm out. Okay. And then went down to like 20 seconds. And then I remember I injured one of the female agents. And then the guy agent like was about to, I had like literally 25 seconds left. And he could like, you know, quote unquote finish the training session and like, you know, defeat me, quote unquote, and I would lose. But it was those kind of training sessions where like it was real damage, like people were actually getting hurt, right? So it turns out I injured a female agent, and he was looking at me, and we had like this really intense like eye contact session, and then he let me go. And I saw the clock like count down from like 10, and then I could hear the captain in the background being like, "Don't let her go! Don't let her go!" And then this guy agent who had his like gun aimed at me decided to let me go and help this girl that I had injured, the female agent. Turns out they were family. Like, I don't know if they were married or something, but you find out at the end of the dream that they're family. So anyway, it counts down. I get back my teleportation powers and I start teleporting, and I pretty much win. Yeah, right? I win the training section. And, you know, the captain starts like talking to like the people around him. And talking about how like, you know, she's not affected by family bonds or something like that. And then we all get transported out of the training arena, which is technically in VR because we were all in like VATS. Or like we were all hooked up to machines, so it wasn't actually like real life. I don't know. Anyway, and then the guy who was like who set up the system starts talking, and I literally remember, I wrote down exactly what he said. Like, you know, it was such an anime moment where, you know, I was in the process of, you know, getting transported out of this training arena, and he said, she is a steel rose locked in a case of ice. That's why she is my best friend. And then I woke up at 10:56 with 4 minutes left to spare before stream started. Now, I have no idea what I just experienced. But goddamn. God damn. God damn. And that all happened in 40 minutes. Can you believe that? My god. Yeah. Anyway, that was my dream. It took me 1 hour to tell you guys about my dream. Oh, that was literally insane. It's actually even more insane is that I think I kind of woke up in between each section. So after the bank section, I like woke up to check the time, make sure I wasn't late. And then after the ripping the head off, I woke up again to check the time. My god. Oh. It was like a full 12 anime episode, bro. It's crazy. Anyway, so this dream also happened in parts, and then like it all kind of like meshes together, but then I don't know. Anyway, so it starts off with a serial killer that attacks with an axe. The father in every family, for some reason, turned into a serial killer that attacked with an axe. And for some reason, we were in said family's house. And, you know, the father some was attacking, but then they also had children. And then the father chopped his own 3 fingers off because the power of paternal love is stronger than psychosis. Anyway, that happened, right? The interesting thing... Actually, no, not interesting. The important thing is that the father lost 3 fingers, okay? 3 fingers. Yubi. Yes, okay? Lost 3 fingers. Now, this is the part where I was like, my goodness. What is my brain? In this dream, I dreamed that I woke up from the dream. Dreamception. So in this dream, I dreamt that I woke up from this dream in my room only to find Mumei and Chuuni like getting stuff to leave as if we were roommates. So pretend like I was like sleeping and then they were just in my room. They were like, oh, we're gonna head out, bae. And I'm like, okay. And then I was like half off the bed because I was like so intensely in this dream. And then Mumei was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I need to get back to my dream about the father who lost 3 fingers. I mean, this is still it. I'm still dreaming, by the way. And then she started laughing at me. She's like, wait, no way. And then... yeah. And then I went back to my dream. Inside of my dream. Now the next dream... I don't really know what happened to the father with 3 fingers because the scene has changed. We are now in an old time, like olden day village by the sea. Think like Zelda. You know those like cute little villages by the sea? Yes. Yes. So we're in one of those villages and I somehow see like young women running on the rooftops. And I'm with like a new group of people. And I don't remember anyone except I remember that Reed from Criminal Minds was there. Right? I just saw young women running on the rooftops. So we started chasing them. And then I turn around and I see this gigantic spider following us. It was like leaping and then it had like hair coming out of it. And I don't know what told me, but I knew that it was called the Godfather spider. And I looked at Reed. And then he was like, what's that? And I was like, oh, I don't want to alarm you, but that is the most poisonous spider in this region. And then it jumped. And then I pushed Reed out of the way and then I got bit. And because it was extremely poisonous, we stopped chasing. I started getting a fever, and then they took me to this river to like cool me down because we were back in a day where they don't have like cooling patches. So they just dunked me in the river. And then we looked to the left, and then the girls that were running on the roof just walked by us. And then we like called them out and we were like, hey, this is all your fault. And they were like, what, ma'am? Excuse me? What? I don't even know you. And then we somehow convinced them that it was their fault because we were chasing them. That's why we got bit. And then we demanded them to help us find a cure. So they agreed. And then we ended up in this convenience store where Fauna was handing out vegan donuts. I was still like on all fours crawling because I was bitten by a very poisonous spider. And then I had some, and then I kept looking for finger buns. I kept asking, are there any finger buns? And then they kept saying that it was on the top shelf, but there were no finger buns on the top shelf. And then somehow I ended up at a live show with my sister. And she was coming up the escalator and she was like, oh, babe, there you are. And I was like, oh, hi. And I was like, wait, what happened to the live show? And then she was like, it's intermission. And then we left to find more finger buns. That's it. That's it. That is it. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Wait, I had a dream last night. I only remember one part of the dream, but it was really funny. I only remember one part of the dream, but the part that I remember was really, really funny to me. So what happened was there was like an entire like situation going on, and it was pretty serious, you know? It was pretty serious. It was like a drama, like I think K-drama like storyline. But the only part that I remember was that I was in Japan during winter, and like the winds were extremely strong. And I remember I was wearing a big fluffy parka coat, and the wind was so strong it blew me away. And then everyone that was in the dream started laughing at me. That's the only part I remember. I literally put my hands up and I flew away. I don't remember anything else. That's it. Because I think people in the dream were saying, "Oh my god, no! Like you're not gonna blow away." And then I stopped like leaning forward, and immediately I was just like, "Wow!"
I need like a moment to process what I saw in the dream. The first scene that I remember was I think I was like some Secret Service agent. But that Secret Service was Hololive. It was very strange. I was given like an entire backstory of like where I went, where I grew up, and what I was doing. And then I went, I was on like a secret mission. I don't know, it was really weird. So the very first thing I remember was that we were trapped inside of this really big like hotel. And then we suddenly found like a door that led outside. And like think Shining Hotel, right? Something like that. And we went outside, and then me and my partner, I don't remember who this other person was, but I had a partner on this mission. And we was like, why is it always a hotel? I don't know. So we went out, and then we ran, and then we were like so confused. We were like, oh my god, are we free? Are we what? And then we were about to celebrate where like when two children came running up to us. Children, I meant like teenagers. And they were like, Mom! Dad! And then I looked at my partner, and then my partner looked at me, and we were both like, ah, shit. No, as in like, no, we weren't the parents. As in like the parents were now stuck inside of the hotel. Like, because we had run past like two people that we'd never seen before inside of the hotel. So we were just gonna leave. But then we realized, yeah, it's important to clarify. Okay, I didn't realize it sounded like that until I said it, okay? But yeah, and then we realized their parents were inside the hotel. And now we're like, shit, we can't leave because we gotta save them. Anyway, and then I don't remember the rest of that plot. Next plot I do remember slightly. I remember because IRyS was on this. Okay, so we were on the secret mission and we just entered, I don't remember what country we had entered. IRyS was with me and we were all getting briefed and we were at like the security point when IRyS's luggage was overweight. Agent IRyS's suitcase was overweight. So at the security checkpoint, I had to open my suitcase. And then, I don't know what she had in her suitcase that was so heavy. But she started pulling out these like metal rods that were like shaped as like triangular prisms. It was like metal and I don't know, maybe it was for our mission or something. I don't really know. So, so she took like 2 out and then she gave it to me and then I put it in my luggage and then we somehow got onto the flight and then we arrived at our destination and then suddenly like we arrived and then we're getting briefed with like the other quote unquote agents, right? And then I look across from me and it's someone from like primary school that I haven't seen in years. And she kept staring at me and then I kept staring at her because I recognized her instantly, right? But you know when someone gives you like a smile where like they don't know who you are and they're just like smiling nicely at you? Right. So we were all sitting there. I recognized her instantly, but you know, apparently like I had a cover, you know, I was from Rome. I had like a study in Rome and then, you know, it was very weird, you know? And then, so after we got briefed, like I sat down opposite this girl and then she was like, hi, nice to meet you. How was your placement in Rome? And I was like, what? And then she was like, yeah, I've heard about your exploits in Rome. I read your file. And I was like, do you not recognize me? And she was like, huh? And I was like, And I looked around to make sure like, you know, the supervisor wasn't around. Just me casually just leaking confidential information that I don't think I should have been doing. And I looked back at her and I was like, it's me. Oh, wait, no, I didn't say it's me. I said, I went to X school with you. And then she looked at me for a second. And then she was like, babe? Anyway, those two are the non-gory ones. The ones that are gory are like afterwards. And it's kind of concerning. So, the next story is a tragic love story that I witnessed. I wasn't like a part of the story. It's like one of those dreams where you just witness things happening to other people and you're just like watching it. This is all one dream, literally. This is kind of like, yeah, I was like literally changing TV channels while dreaming. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so what happened was in this dream, there were 3 main protagonists, right? 3 main protagonists and like they all had like different powers and they were good at fighting different people, and then there were 2 twins. And I was just watching all this happen. Okay, the 2 twins. We're gonna call twin A Baba. No, it's not Baba. One of the twins, they were like, maybe they weren't twins, they were sisters. They were definitely sisters, but I don't remember. Like they both had short hair, and they both looked like just very typical nice anime girl, right? Anyway, so one of the twins was getting along with this red themed guy. I don't remember his face. I just remember it was red. He had like a red coat on, like it was like a, I don't know, he was very like street red coat. Anyway, so they were getting along and then he invited her to go out and stroll the streets because technically they were still working on a mission. They were like, I think they were part of the Secret Service club, but I was just watching this like love story and like tragedy happen. So literally, like I think he was like a dog of some sort. Like, I don't know. It was very strange. And then he asked her, what weapon do you want to bring? Because you have to bring a weapon. And then there was one weapon that worked against shadows. You're playing too much Persona. One weapon that works against werewolves, and another weapon that just... I don't remember what the last weapon was on. And then she chose the gun to fight against werewolves. And then he was all like, oh, nice choice, because if a shadow comes, I can protect you, blah, 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 blah. And it was really cute. And I was like, oh my god, you guys are so cute together. Okay. And then fast forward to like their quote unquote like going on their rounds together, like, you know, going out. The other twin is also there, and I'm just like, what? What is this what? What's going on? Huh? And then it turns out this other sister also liked this guy, but this guy was not like paid her no attention at all. Oh my god. The love triangle. It's the plot twist. But like he promised to like, you know, when they were going out on their rounds, like he promised to like protect them both. Okay, we're in K-drama territory now. We actually are. So what happened was like they were going out on their rounds, and I remember like the you know, it was like a lot of underground, and there was a certain passageway that if you take, like, it's really dangerous. And it was like a lot of tunnels and everything. And so they started like walking, and he kept talking to like twin A, or like sister A, and everyone was holding like everyone was eating candied strawberries on a stick. I don't know why this plays a very important part of the story. Everyone was holding a stick of candied strawberries, okay? Okay, and you know, apparently these candy strawberries had power or whatever, because like, you know, they were doing their rounds and Sister B was getting ignored, and I teleported into like her perspective. Like I saw what she was experiencing, and she was like, oh my god, he doesn't even knows me. All he's doing is talking to her. I might as well not be here. And remember, this is very dangerous, you know, because they're scouts, you know, so they're in enemy territory right now. So she decides to like run away. And because the other two are in their own world, they don't even realize she literally runs like 2 steps back. Well, she stops walking, and the other two just keep walking away, you know. And then, in anger, she starts like banging her candied strawberry against the wall of the tunnel, and it all like shatters, and she starts running. She starts running down like any tunnel. She doesn't care which way she goes. She starts running and running and running. And you know, the candied strawberry is like dropping after her, you know. And then I think she gets attacked by something, and she was like being very Chuuni, and she was like, take me now, no one loves me. But then remember, there was 3 guys. One of the other guys who was like really tall, kind of reminds me of the Hellsing character. You can hear like a shot from behind, and then, you know, it was there. Like they were all there, like the entire group was there. And then she was just there sitting on the ground, and she looked, you know, she had like that anime look of emptiness. You know where their eyes just go blank? She had that look on her face. And then like the dog boy and the sister came running up to her, and they were like, oh my god, are you okay? Are you okay? And then he starts beating himself up for like not paying attention, and blah, 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 blah. And then she's still empty. And then when they got back, it was like, yeah, it was very sad. And then he kept beating himself up, and then he went for a walk because he kept beating himself up. And then the end of the story is that because, you know, the apparently like the jealousy stemmed from like the sistership and everything. I swear this is from Persona. The end of the story is that they went through some kind of hypnosis where they forget that they're sisters. And then when they walk past each other in the hallway, they both give that very shallow surface smile. That's the end of chapter 3. All because of a guy! Love hurts. Yeah. Actually, story number 4 is the most gruesome one of all. That rhymed. It was bad. It was like really, really bad. Like I have never seen such a gruesome dream before. It was insane. I don't know. Anyway, back to the dream. Episode 4. Most gruesome of them all. So what happened was we were playing. What we were playing? We were playing like some form of like deranged dodgeball, but it was like we were like training, technically. And like there was this one guy. It was you know, obviously in the training room there were both girls and guys, and there was this one guy who was like innately psychotic. It's all still secret agent related. It really is. It's like innately psychotic. And he would like throw the ball, and the ball wasn't like a normal ball, like, you know, it was like a special training ball. He would throw the ball at us as if he actually wanted to kill us, you know, so innately psychotic. So, you know, and this one I was in the dream, and it didn't like it hurt, quotation marks, like I thought that it hurt, but you know, it actually didn't hurt because I was in a dream. But he kept like throwing it so hard, like to really, you know, I remember he like broke the kneecaps of one person, and then like, you know, he was laughing and then saying how everyone is weak and stuff like that. And then I remember I got so frustrated that, you know, and then he was saying how like, oh, my hits never like, you know, they don't hurt and whatever, blah 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 blah. So I got the ball and I kept aiming for his face. And I don't know what happened to set him off, but I think like I kept aiming it at his face, and then something happened that like set off his psychotic mode, and then he went flying across the room. I don't know whether we had drawn weapons and we actually started attacking each other or whatever, but he flew across the room, and then he got up, and then he went to another girl and like threw the dodgeball in her face, and then started choking her, like full on like choking her, like and lifting her up, right? And I was like, what? Because he went psycho. So the thing is, after like, you know, obviously when she started choking her, I went up and I kicked him under the feet. You know, the feet swept him, and then he released the girl. But then his like focus was now on me, right? And then we started like, literally, we started like fighting. Don't ask me where these like moves came from. It's a dream, okay? We started like fighting. He started choking me, and then I had like a little like dagger that was hidden up my sleeve, and then like he was like literally on top of me, and then like choking me, and then I pulled out the little dagger, and then I like stabbed it into his nose, like up his nose hole, and I kept like stabbing up his nose hole. There was blood everywhere. And then, you know, and then suddenly he got pulled off, like, by, I don't know, someone, and then we all got caught into, quote-unquote, the supervisor's room. And then, like, his mom came in, and then, like, his mother was one of those types that's like, let's give him a, what's like a mama's boy's name? Like, my Benjamin can never do something like that! You know, one of those mums. And then we just sat, you know, it was a cat in one of those rooms, and then we sat in the supervisor's room, and literally the entire thing was on tape, because obviously this is a secret service. Every inch of the secret service place is like covered in security cameras, right? So So she watched it, and then you know, I don't know what happened because I woke up. And I was like, bro, what? What? Secret Service daycare. I don't know. The Secret Service dude's mom came to bail him out. Yeah, pretty much here. It's very strange. Very, very strange. Oh, my Fruit Loops are all soggy now. So, you just woke up, didn't you? I had the weirdest dream. I don't even know what happened. But it involved a trident. I was very weird. We were in some kind of race, and we were winning in some group. It was like some triathlon type race, but Chuuni. And then someone on my team was like, we were like crossing a body of water in like small circular rafts. And then someone on my team over the walkie-talkie was like, make way! The police helicopter's coming to return my trident! And I was like, what the fuck? And then sure enough, there was like a siren to my left and the seas parted. All the rafts moved to the side. And then there was a gigantic police helicopter. And then it dropped a trident into the water right next to me. And then there was someone else next to me who tried to grab it. I'm like, excuse me, that is my team's trident. And there's this thing that if you know, if it's not, if the trident, if you are not worthy, your hand starts to burn. So the other person's hand started burning. But mine didn't, so I lifted it in the air. And then I changed scenes. I don't know what happened next. I had strangest dream. I remember, again, bits of it. There was one part of it that especially I was in some kind of like contest where it was kind of like a knowledge-based competition, and it was like groups, and Callie was in my group, and the question was like, there was like one person in one area and the other person in the other area, and it's like kind of based on general knowledge. So the question was like, the question was just a series of like letters and numbers. If I remember correct, I don't know if I remember correctly. It was something K number. It was like letter, number, letter, number, letter, number, letter, number. So it was like 4 groups of one letter and then a number. And then we had to figure out, and then we were given like another set of letter, number, letter, number, letter, number. And then apparently the general knowledge part is, for some reason, it was like, it stood for the Buckingham Palace. I don't know where this came from. Like, it's not coordinates, but it was quote unquote coordinates. It was somehow related to the Buckingham Palace, and I remember because I asked Callie, do you remember what the letter and number sounds for? Like, what? Oh my god, what they stand for? Because we had to know that, the base coordinate, and then we had to minus the coordinate the exam question gave us, and then we had to minus it, you know? I don't know. To get our answer. I have no clue. It makes no sense to me. But then there was another part where like I remember we were walking through, it was kind of like the general knowledge exam, but in the form of like a haunted house, except it wasn't haunted. It was just like you had to complete, it's like an escape room pretty much. Escape room, that's the right word for it. And then like your team could split into going upstairs and going downstairs, stuff like that. And I remember there was something that I became so Chuuni that I couldn't open my right eye. So I was like this. I don't know what it was, but I remember I couldn't open my right eye until I ate something very specific. Oh, that's my left eye. Oops. It's like this. There's a demon in my right eye. Man. Anyway, that was my dream.
Will you tell us your dream now? Oh, the one with Naruto. Yeah, it wasn't anything like intense. It was just like we were at a big camera and I saw they were selling an like electronic robot version of Elmo, and I was telling Naruto and I was like, oh my god, look, it's Elmo, but like you can buy your own Elmo and it only costs like $2,000. You know, just a dream like any other. Yeah. Classic, you know? It's just, you telling me you don't have dreams about Elmo and Naruto? Yeah, because what happened? I remember it was, we were all in the same room. Like, there was a group of us, I don't remember who else was there. Naruto was definitely there. Someone else was there. And then someone was like, oh, I'm heading to the combini. Do you guys want anything? And then we all just went because we were like, yeah, let's all go. And we were like, okay. There were other people there. I don't remember who, though. I remember vague outlines. There was someone wearing a cape. That's all I remember. And then we went, and then somehow we ended up in a combini, and then we were getting our food and our snacks that was also somehow in a big camera. I don't know what's happening. But then we walked, there was like a group of like a crowd around this one area of the big camera, and we were like, oh my god, what's going on? What's going on? And then I walked in, and then I walked to the front of the crowd, and then all I hear was, it's Elmo! That's not how Elmo sounds. Elmo! That's not how Elmo sounds. Whatever, you know? But it was like, his body was like in half. Like, okay, have you guys watched Men in Black 2? You know, in the scene in Men in Black 2 where like Jay goes back to get K from the post office, and then all the post office people are like exposed to be aliens, and then there's that one alien that half of his body is like he's like controlling it inside, and half of his body's on the ground. Yeah, that's what Elmo looked like. So what happened was, I saw that, and then we were like, "What's going on?" And then, yeah, it was like your own Freddy Fazbear. It's your own FNAF, but Elmo version for sale for $2,000. I know exactly it was $2,000 because it was actually 1,900 yen, 1,900 something yen. Wait, no, sorry, it was 19,000 something yen. Wait, what? Yes. No, what? Yes, 19,000 something yen. Wait, what? No. 1,900, 1,000, 10,000. 10,000. 19,000 yen. Yes, it was 19,000. I hear the writing. Shut up! 19,000 yen. And I remember I made the same mistake in the dream because originally I told Naruto that was only $200, and then I looked at the price tag again and I was like, wait, no. Oh, wait, actually, Naruto, sorry, it's $2,000. Yeah. That was my dream. Last night. I think there were other parts of it too. That's also kind of why I was late to the studio, because I woke up at the time I was supposed to wake up at, but I was still in the middle of my dream, so I went back to sleep. And then I woke up like 20 minutes later and I was like, oh no. Anyway,
I had like a 10-part dream yesterday. I think I only remember one part because it was so real. I was just like, bruh. So we were playing. The game is kind of like, I don't think this game exists. The game was called RE:, right? So re. So this part of the dream, I was in a collab with Callie, IRyS, and I think other people. I think Zeta and Chuuni were doing another collab. The reason that I remember this is so crazy. It was just re, right? And it reminded me of like, what's the game called? Stardew Valley. One of those games, you know, where you can like create like a little place together and then you decorate it. And we were decorating it for Christmas. I don't know why it was after Christmas. But anyway, isn't that a real game? It probably is somewhere. It's like a simulator game, right? So we were getting ready for the collab. And then it was me, Callie, IRyS, and I think Kanata was there for some reason. I don't know. Weird grouping, but welcome. And then we started streaming and then my internet cut. Like, it cut in a way where it just completely went out. And then I was just sitting there going, what? And then I had to message IRyS online and I was like, yeah, my internet's out. It's getting too realistic. It really is. But came back 10, 15 minutes later, and then I went back to streaming, and then I kind of like zoomed into the game, so we became a part of the game. So like we were living out the game, IRL, and for some reason it was in my house, and we were decorating my house. So my house was like, we were decorating my house in game, but like, you know, what I saw was in game. That makes sense. Anyway. And then I saw Kanata was there, and she was like lying on this hammock thing, when all of a sudden a gigantic spider fell down, like onto her hammock, and then she freaked out, and then she did a backflip backwards, and I just looked at her. I don't know where I am. I don't know what I just experienced. Literally, Kiryu was in my dream. It was so confusing. Rat School was also in my dream. I don't know. It was very strange. She's gone mad. She actually has gone mad. I'm starting to dream about Yakuza. But it's like a really strange dream. I even remember. Here's the thing. I remember the dream when I woke up and now it's gone. I just remember Kiryu was in it. Rat School was also in it, and there was like these iron bars that we had to leave Rat School or else it would close. I also remember. What else do I remember? I remember I had to do some like. I had to apply for some individual. What was it? Some individual something. And then when I was filling out the form, it asked for like your fatal number, and I was like, what is a fatal number? And then I was trying to read up on fatal numbers, and it was like a code. I don't know what's going on. Oh, and then there was like this witch lady that we visited that was evil, and she had like a pumpkin on her face. And then when she ripped the pumpkin, it turns out that it was like the twin of some. I don't know what's going on. Did you sleep well? Bruh! I dreamed a dream. I dreamed a dream. It was very strange. What was it this time? I dreamt I had a fight with a childhood friend. Oh, very strange. I don't know why. The dream, like, this childhood friend was putting on like a school play and I was supposed to be in it, and then we had a fight, and then I didn't appear in the play. I don't know. Did you use Mad Dog style, bro? And then it was drama over drama. It's so funny because actually this childhood friend has reached out and they're like, recently, I don't know why. Maybe this is why they've been in my dream because I've been thinking about them. But this childhood friend, I've known them since like baby. And they're like, hey, how you been? Let's catch up. Because our families were really, really close as well. And I was like, oh, I'm busy. But sure, maybe if I have time. But anyway, after that, we didn't talk at all in the dream, you know, because we were fighting. But then I was in Japan, changing my gym membership, and then they were also there, and that's how we made up. I don't know. It's a strange dream. I have a multi-bite on my finger. Anyway, any strange dreams? You have no idea. I dreamt of the planets. I literally dreamt of Mars, Jupiter, Venus. I went to the planets. There was civilization on the planets. It's because of the cabaret. I went to the 5 stars. You have no idea. I went to Jupiter. There was a civilization on Jupiter. And then we went to Venus. It's crazy. It was amazing. Wait, not last night. The night before. Last night. So 2 nights ago, I had a series of really strange dreams. It's one of those dreams that you feel like you've lived an entire century. Because I jolted awake and I was like, I swear I slept until 4 p.m. Which is concerning because I had a call time of 10, 15... Wait. I had a call time of like 10, 12... What? I had a call time. I don't remember what time the call time was. But I had the call time and I was like, oh shit. Did I sleep past... Not even just my alarm, but did I just sleep past the day? Right? And then I looked at my phone and it wasn't even time for me to wake up yet. It was an experience. I remember bits of it. Parts of it were like... Mama Rat was in Japan again and she was in the JP shit. And then trying to figure out because she said she was going to leave for the airport on her own. But then her flight was like 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, what? What? And then we ended up... And then I was at like a sensei's house. I don't know why. It was like a... It wasn't like a school sensei. It was like a... It was like some kind of martial arts sensei. And they had like a really, really pretty house. Looked like a museum. And then somehow entire rat family was just walking down the road. They're like, oh my god, babe, we found you. And I'm like, what the... What the... And then there was a whole journey of trying to get Mama Rat home. And then I woke up the next morning because I came home late. Because I was at the studio. I was working, right? I came home late. And then she was just gone. And I was like, oh, did she go to the airport? I don't know. It's confusing. And then that segment ended. And then the second segment started. And then, you know, it was very scary. You know, it was like an episode of Black Mirror. I think because I was talking about Black Mirror with Mumei the other day. Was a monkey involved? No, robots were involved. So what happened was like there was these 2 robots. They're very, very good looking. You know, peak of peak design. And they rose to fame on like a television show. Everybody started watching it, and it was like they were streaming and everything. And then suddenly they I was looking at the comments, and then they were like saying they had like names. I don't remember what their names were. I think there were 2 sets of names. One set of name was John and Ada, and then the other set of name was like Alex and something. I don't know. Let's just call them Alex and Stan. Right? And then in the comments they were like, oh my god, we love John and Ada, but Alex and Stan, you guys are disgusting. Right? I'm like, what is going on? And then somehow, like, I was in the car with Mama Rat in our driveway back in Australia, but we weren't living in our house. John and Ada and Alex and Stan were in our house, and that's when we found out that Alex and Stan were robots, and we saw them just staring blankly in our living room like window, and they looked very scary. And then suddenly John and Ada came bursting out of the door, and they were like, "Oh my god, ha ha ha, we've tricked everybody. Everyone thinks that they're human." And then we're the only ones who found out. And then suddenly Stan walked out with like a blank face because Stan is a robot and started attacking us. And then I woke up. Anyway, what did we learn? I don't know. Always set an alarm. Okay, as I was saying, we begin this story at my childhood school. Why? Because apparently IRyS decided to hold a handball competition with everybody present where she versus a 2-year-old. Don't ask, okay? Just don't ask. Now you may be asking, what? And you know what? I was asking, I was asking the same question too. And not only did she want to verse this 2-year-old in handball, she wanted me to be like the MC. There were so many people there. I had a speakerphone and I was like, "Oh my god, is everybody ready?" So back to this epic handball competition between IRyS and a 2-year-old. It somehow turned into a card game. And then we were picking cards. And it was also like we were coming home from camp. It was very strange. And then I was confronting... There's a lot of old faces in this dream. Faces that I haven't seen in a very long time. And then I was confronting this person, and I was like, "Yo, you're talking smack behind my back?" And then she goes, "I've never talked smack about anybody behind their back." And I was like, I whipped out my book of receipts, and I'm like, "July 15, you told me blah 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 blah." And then she was like, "No, I never said any of that." And I'm like, "You're fired, Gaza!" I don't know. I was very angry in this dream for some reason. And then everything was fine. Why everything was fine? Everything was fine. Because we changed locations. And we were now on our way to a music show. What music show, you may ask? But it was the music show. I have a relative, not really. Okay. So we were on our way. I have a relative, not really relative. Like, we kind of regard this rat as a relative, but we're not blood related, if that makes sense. And they're a famous musician. I'm not gonna say what instrument, but they were playing an instrument that wasn't their instrument in this dream. That makes sense. So we were on our way to visit my famous relative, not relative musician. Play Flight of the Bumblebee on the drums. I know, it sounds ridiculous. I also thought it was ridiculous, but it made sense in the dream. Okay? It made sense in the dream. You asked me how, I don't know, okay? But it just, in the dream, it worked. And just to re-clarify again, the actual relative does not play the drums. Anyway, did this relative have 50? No. So the drum kit was also very special. It was like a drum kit, but then on top of the drum kit, there was also a xylophone. And because there was also a xylophone, like, it, you know, made some of the parts of Flight of the Bumblebee were like, you know, played on the xylophone instead of the drums. I don't know, okay? I don't know. So there's that. And then we went to the concert, and I didn't tell anyone that this relative was like relative, or like I knew them. So we rocked up, and then the relative has a lot of fangirls, and then I remember all my friends were like fangirling, and I just walk right up to them, and I'm like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in so long." And then the relative gives me a hug and a kiss on the forehead, and I'm like, "Ah ha ha!" And everyone was seething in jealousy. They were like, "Babe, do you know this famous musician who plays Flight of the Bumblebees on the drum kit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's my relative." They're like, "What?" Casual flex. It's just a little casual flex. So after watching my relative play Flight of the Bumblebee on the drums, then we get transported, you know, into another setting. Now, I understand if you know, my friends were jealous that I knew a famous musician, famous drummer. But you know why there was another reason they'd be jealous of me? It's because I'm a freaking astronaut! That's right, you heard it. I'm an astronaut. We get transported into space. Just another day. Another day at the space station doing my job. Monitoring space. Making sure that there aren't any anomalies present. So, I was just doing my job one day when I realized there was a break. There was a hole. I don't know how this worked, okay? But just imagine that scene from like Meg 2 when there is a hole in like the layer. In that you know how there's like a hole in the what do they call it? The thermal layer? Just imagine that, but like space, okay? So there was a hole in space, and I was like, oh my goodness, we need to go check what's going on. But like, you know, we're not allowed to go out of space because, you know, space beyond space is uncharted territory. Kind of like a black hole. I don't know. It just looked like a hole. You know, there were no stars. It was just a hole. Maybe it was like a wormhole. Something like that. And I was like, I could get fired. But I could make a scientific discovery that would change the world. So you know what I did? I got into my little air spacecraft. And I was on my merry way to discover what was going on in that black hole. Know what I mean? As soon as I left the black hole, there was like an abandoned city underneath. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Anyway, I arrived at this abandoned cityscape. You know, think like apocalypse. There was no one there. But there were these signs over everybody's doors. Yes. It's just a post-apocalyptic place in space that was out of space, but also somehow had gravity. I don't know, okay? So arrived, and there were all these posters marked on everyone's doors, like a date. And I'm like, what is going on? I go inside. No one's there. And then I come across a poster of a door that said, like, there was a date, and it said how many days before she became a cop. You heard that right, fellas. This part of the dream is about this unstoppable curse that turns human beings into household items. Don't ask. It was a tragedy. Ran out of there. It was so eerie. I was like, I ran out of there. You know, got back into my spaceship. I was like, what is going on? Why is there an entire land of people who are missing? What's going on? Right. And then out of nowhere, a screaming girl comes running up to me. You gotta help me! You gotta help me! I don't know where everyone went! You gotta help me! And I'm like, oh my god, you poor darling! Come sit! welcome her into my car. And she's blabbering on about something. She's obviously, you know, shocked and in shock and panic. I wanted to console her. I'd be like, you know, everything's gonna be fine. Everything is going to be absolutely fine. But then, suddenly, there is silence from the back seat. And I'm like, why? I turn around. The girl is gone. All that is left. All that is replaced is a can of fresh mints. She has turned into a fresh mint can. Who's now a box of mints. So after the lady was turned into a box of mints, you know, I got the heck out of there. But turns out I brought the curse back to the real world. People started turning into household objects around me. It was like a curse, and no one knew how to break it. But then there was like a little trick. The more you talked to these officers who were like, they were, you know what they were doing? They were pretending to be officers, but you know, they were actually aliens from outer space. The longer you talked to them, the more you were, the more potential you had of becoming a household object. Does that make sense? It got so intense that even Ollie came to see me. Not only did Ollie come to see me, she came with a bag of tomatoes. Why? Because she was scared of being turned into a tomato. I don't know. I don't know what the logic was. But I just wanted to say, Ollie did come to see me with the bag of tomatoes. Some other people that were turned into household objects I don't remember anymore. But it was terrible! And then I woke up and I was like, oh my goodness. I'm gonna be turned. It's my turn. It's not gonna be pretty. And that was my dream. Pretty sure there was another part that I'm forgetting, but oh well. I may have dreamed about fighting monsters as well. But we all know where that came from. Be good. Yeah, it was good. We're back to the weird dreams, which is good. I was just in the midst of escaping, like, a castle, I think. Or an island that was on a ship when I woke up. I had to see the ending of it. I never got to escape, but anyway. Yeah, it was an island on a ship. I don't know. Yeah, so what happened was, there was a lot of like fragmented parts of the dream. I remember my old high school was there, and we were, and then someone at the old vice principal was like, "Tell me my name," and everyone was like, "What the heck?" Okay, and then Naruto and Sasuke were there. I had to help Sasuke save a kid that was swallowed by an alien. Look. Don't ask. But okay, this is the real thriller part. So I was taking care of these three sisters, right? I was like their nursemaid, and they kept drinking. You know, it was like in a fancy castle and stuff like that. When one day one lady started asking questions, right? And then I was kind of like I went from the nursemaid to a third person like viewer, where I was just watching this happen. And one of the three sisters, the youngest one, started asking questions that didn't make sense. Because she started finding things like, wait a second, people keep calling to buy a certain thing, but it doesn't make sense, because when she tells them a response, it's always just like, I don't remember what they were selling, but I think it was sussy things. I don't know. And then she noticed that, you know, she looked at a map, which she'd never done before, and it turns out where she was told the island is, you know, was completely different to where the map, you know, was. And then, she looked at the water, and it turns out she'd been drinking cloudy water, and it was like, what the heck is going on? And then she gets summoned by this guy, and then he's like, hey, what's up? You seem kind of weird. And then she's like, I don't know, you seem kind of weird. And then that's when she realized that they were trapped on the island that was on a ship. You know, they were being brainwashed. It's kind of like that story where like they're trapped in a simulation but they don't know it. But she gained sentience. She became sentient, right? Yeah. But then she died. And then it came back, it rewinded back to when she started figuring out anything. And now I'm the youngest. I'm her now. And then I know what's happening. And then I was like on my way to visit the guy again because I got summoned. But this time I was like, I need your help. We're all trapped here. And then we were still talking. He had a violinist called Viola. I don't know why. And then we went into this private study with all like the important head people. And we were talking about how, look, it's the water. They're drugging us through the water. And then we were talking, but the servants were all in on it, and the servants kept asking, do you want the bloody animal? Like, you know, they're trying to set up us with a feast, and I'm like, don't touch anything. And then they were like, how do you know this? And I'm like, because I've lived the last 7 years of my life over and over and over again. Which, it's from the anime, where the girl lived the last 7 years of her life over and over and over again. You know, I immediately knew where that came from in the dream. Yeah, but then, you know, as we were in the middle of explaining that everyone was brainwashed, suddenly there was an attack on the island on the ship. And then they were sending aliens after us. And I was in the midst of trying to escape, and then my alarm woke me up.
This is when I jolted awake at 4:30 in the morning, and I was like, this is the weirdest dream. And
you wrote it?
I wrote it down on my notes. It was so weird. It didn't, like, you know, like there's weird dreams where it involves like people like from your old high school and then people from Hololive. You're like, what is going on in my brain?
I have dreams about middle school way too much.
Oh my god. Tell you about it? Okay, let me tell you about it. Okay, so in this setting, we were like a big group, like a family group, but we were not related to each other. So it's like, you know, it's similar to... It might have been from Yakuza because maybe that's just what
Your dream sounded like Naruto to me.
So it's like this big group, it was like family, and we all look out for each other, and then we all lived in like this 6-story... I've not watched that.
It's The Sopranos, trust me. Trust me, your dream is exactly like The Sopranos.
But we all lived in like this like 6-story, like huge ass like building. But guess who was the family head?
Yago.
Yago was the family head! And he was like suffering from some kind of, touch on wood, but like he was suffering from some kind of sickness and he didn't want to worry the rest of the family. But I distinctly remember Yago being like, babe, can you go make me a cup of tea? And I'm like, are you okay? And then he's like, don't worry about me.
That's so sweet. Was he speaking Japanese or English?
I don't know. I don't know.
Gibberish. He just understood.
I just understood.
He didn't even say anything. He just looked at you and you knew.
And he was surprisingly very energetic. Like, you know when people like don't want to worry, like if people are sick and they don't want to worry them around them, they just like extra energetic. He was like dancing and like smiling and clapping his hands, trying not to worry the rest of the... Anyway, so
this was like the scenario, and then something happened where me and you broke off from the family. Then it transitioned into us speeding down a highway,
Oh yeah.
and like it was like one of those highways that go over like a bridge, right? And then it was like a bridge over water. So you were speeding down the highway, and then suddenly we missed. I don't know how we missed the turn, but we like drove off of the bridge.
I take offense that I have been driving you around and then you have a dream where I drive you off of a cliff.
We drive off, and then we like, obviously it's water, right? So like we crash into the water. You somehow already had your seatbelt off, and you were like,
I was prepared.
She was prepared. I was like, and then for some reason my seatbelt was an airplane seatbelt. It wasn't like, it wasn't a normal seatbelt. It was an airplane seatbelt. So I unhooked the seatbelt, and I was like swimming to the surface, and it wasn't that deep. It was like maybe like swimming pool depth. I don't know why. Like we drove off a cliff, but it was like swimming pool depth. We got to the surface, and then we were just like treading water, and then you looked at me, you're like, I kind of want to get our things that are now sinking at the bottom of this water. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Because like I had like my backpack.
Makes sense.
That makes sense, right? I had like my carry-on that was in the car, so my phone was there, my iPad was there, and like my wallet was there, and like, yeah, we should go. And then we swam down to the bottom where the car was, and we were just getting our stuff. And then for some reason, Mumei reached to help me get the stuff, and then she threw my wallet. I don't know how you threw my wallet underwater, but she threw my wallet underwater, and the zip was open, so all my coins fell out because it was upside down. So I looked at her, and we were like, I don't know, maybe I was breathing underwater, I don't know, and then I shouted, Mumei, it's open! And then I could see like the coins like floating down. And then you grabbed it, we went back to the surface, and then you threw it in the air again, and I'm like, Mumei!
Dang. I sound awesome. Making it rain coins.
And it's funny because there was another, I didn't tell you this, there was another wrecked car there, and there was an old man just chilling there, inside of the car.
Just hanging out.
Just hanging out. And then we got saved by a group of ninjas.
Okay, that's why I thought your dream sounded like Naruto. It was like ninjas.
We got saved by a group of ninjas. And then we were having, and then I think we got accepted into like this new family group. And then there was like throwing up, like, I think they went off to like the fourth ninja war or something. And then we were like, you better be careful. And then the whole family left. And then when they came back, we had this huge party. And then some random guy comes in and is like, you think you're ninjas? I challenge you to a fight. And then one of the girls, like, you know, suddenly got like a shuriken and threw it against the wall, and the wall exploded like styrofoam. And that's when we got.
I remember.